A one, a two, and you know what to do. What's going on, everybody? I am your boy, the Sebastian Alexander Bonet, but you can call me His Royal Highness, and welcome to another episode of Rhoyally PHUCKED. So, if you got the beginning of what I'm saying, you already know what this video is going to be about. It is going to be about Ma Rainey's Black Bottom by August Wilson, the playwright directed by George C. Wolfe, another playwright and director. So this is going to have so many components in it. I'm going to try to do this as quickly as I can. But first and foremost, hopefully you are doing well in your neck of the woods, wherever you are. Please like, subscribe, and share to my channel. I am so grateful. Like I keep telling y'all, we have gotten over 10,000 subscribers to my channel, so I am grateful for that. So continue to share and subscribe and leave comments down in there, bounce ideas off of each other, and change our perspectives on things. So before we begin to talk about Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, we have to talk about the man, the entity, the legend, the icon, the phenomenon that wrote Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, and that is the late, great August Wilson. So I have a lot of knowledge in my head, but I have even more knowledge in my phone. So I'm going to tell you my personal journey with August Wilson, because I didn't know who August Wilson was up until, I knew up until 2000. My very first play that I ever did, even before I went into theater as my major, my very first play that I did was August Wilson's The Piano Lesson at Tallahassee Little Theater, years and years ago. And that is how I became familiar with August Wilson. Did that play, loved it, decided that I wanted to go into theater, got a degree in theater from my alma mater, the Florida Agricultural Mechanical University. And the rest is history, right? Going to school, I learned about August Wilson. I learned about how he wrote, why he wrote, in the direction in which he wrote. And so a lot of things, he wrote a lot of plays, right? But his most famous or his most recognizable is not a single play, but a series that he wrote, right? So in this series is Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, The Piano Lesson, and 8 other plays. So he wrote a 10-play series. And each play represented a decade in the 20th century. So 1900s, 1910s, 1920s, 1930s, yada, yada, yada. And those plays that are a part of that 10-play series, I'm just going to read them off to you so you can do your own research and go back and find them. The first one is Jitney, which I was not in Jitney at FAMU, but I was box office manager, I think. But anyways, Jitney, you have Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, you have Fences. And some of you may know Fences because you may have seen it with Viola Davis, i.e., and Denzel Washington. It was initially, they did a revival on Broadway, which I believe she won a Tony for that role, as well as Denzel Washington. Or I know they both were nominated, but then it was adapted to a film that the masses were able to see. You also have Joe Turner's Come and Gone. FAMU did that one too. The Piano Lesson, like I told you that I was in. 2 Trains Running, 7 Guitars, King Hedley II, and Radio Golf. Those are the 10 plays in his series. And what August believed, he believed in writing the African American story. Not so exaggerated to where it's like, like giving the glitz and the glam of it, but the everyday story. And the fact of the matter is, when you think about the 1900s, that 100-year span, there was not a lot there was not a lot of glitz and glamour for the African American people, for the African American diaspora, especially when you're talking about the working class. You know what I'm saying? And even in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, what we're going to get into, she was a celebrity of her time, but this play, now screenplay, shows the struggles of an African American woman, a brass, bold, having the unmitigated gall to be seen and heard. And I say unmitigated gall, not Like, how dare she? But yay, she having that kind of courage to know her worth. So August believed in writing, and I'm not even going to call that man, I'm going to say Mr. Wilson. Just like on the Cosby Show, none of them people say Bill. They all call him Mr. There's a level of respect that is due. Even Felicia Rashad says Mr. Cosby, and it's not a level, and it's not about some servitude or whatever, or being an elder or whatnot. There is a level of respect when you have accomplished so much in your life and touched so many people. There's a level of respect that you give. So August Wilson and the great Beyond, I do forgive me for calling you August, because I don't know you like that. I ain't never met you. I'm familiar with your work, but that was so disrespectful. So Mr. Wilson believed in writing the everyday struggle, the everyday life of the everyday black man, the everyday black woman, and in its simplicity but complexity. And you can see that within Fences. You can see that, and I'm naming the ones that people may have seen, because I know the theater kids like me know all the other plays. And so if I keep going back to Ma Rainey's Black Bottom or Fences, and even The Piano Lesson was a movie as well years ago, I'm using those as reference points, because those are readily available to the masses if you want to go back and look and go back and do your research. YouTube has all the good stuff. Come go to YouTube and look those clips up or whatnot. There's an excellent clip of Fences when it initially premiered on Broadway with the incomparable, the master of all masters, who originated the role on Broadway, Mr. James Earl Jones, Darth Vader, King, what was his name in Coming to America? King Jeffrey Joffas, so you can definitely see those clips on YouTube. But this is who Mr. Wilson was. That is what he wrote about. He wanted to show the simplicity and the complexity of the African American diaspora, of the African American journey, of the African American life, the joys, the sorrows, and literally everything in between, right? Okay, so now we're going to get on Ma Rainey herself. And a lot of this stuff is that not that I've done my research per se, but this is what has been quoted off of interviews that I've seen with Viola, and I'm not even going to call her Viola because I don't know her either. Miss Davis, okay? And Mr. Denzel Washington. It's a little warm over here with these lights. Or what they talked about. And from what I understand and what they've seen is that Ma Rainey is the mother of blues. Just like we got Shirley Caesar is the mother of gospel. Aretha Franklin is the queen of soul. I guess Michael Jackson is the king of pop. They're the only ones that I know. Gladys Knight is the empress of soul. Patti LaBelle is the godmother. Okay, I can go on. Maybe I can't because they're the only ones I know. But she was listed as, and side note, and I've always never understood this. When they always say Shirley Caesar is the mother of gospel, what about Mahalia? I always think about that. It's no shade, and I know we're not talking about this. It's no shade against Dr. Reverend Shirley Caesar. But what about Mahalia? Mahalia came first. Does Mahalia have a title? And if y'all don't know who Mahalia Jack, soon I will be done with the trouble. Look up Mahalia. I ain't gonna say all that. But I just wonder why they again, no shade to Shirley Caesar. But what about Mahalia? I would have thought like Mahalia was the mother of gospel music, but neither here nor there. So, Ma Rainey, they said they can only find 7 pictures of Ma Rainey, right? So they found them 7 pictures. They patterned what they needed to pattern after her for this movie. But what I understand and what they have said is that she was the queen of, or the mother of blues, but coming up right behind her, it's Betsy Smith. Now, if you guys have not seen Betsy that came out on HBO starring Queen Latifah played Betsy, which was a wonderful, wonderful movie. This had to be I'll probably give it 5 to 7 years ago. And in Betsy, Monique played Ma Rainey. And so if you go look at that, you can kind of see their dynamics. They talk about Betsy Smith and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, but this is not focusing on her or whatnot. But to go back and watch Betsy, it was an HBO movie 5 to 7 years ago, starring Queen Latifah as Betsy Smith and Monique as Ma Rainey. So, Ma Rainey, mother of blues, brass, bold, openly bisexual. Hiya to the LGBTQIA plus community. She said back then, bitch, I like pussy and pussy likes me. Bitch, I like dick and dick likes me. And it for a woman to be a black woman, a woman, period, because even though we're talking about this is 1927, that this is staged in, or the set, think about 1927 as a white woman, as a black woman. Clearly the black women had it worse, but women in general, to be an openly bisexual woman was not the thing to be. It's not how nice it is now where women can walk down the street and hold hands, but yet if a man walked down the street and hold hands, you want to call us faggots and sisters. But again, I digress. We're not going to that. But Ma Rainey was openly bi. She was old. I'm from the South, and I can say she was an old big bulldagger. She was a bulldagger, you know. She was butchy. You know, she had finger waves and all, but she was, you know, based on what they said that they built the fat suit for Miss Davis to be a, did they say 16, 18, 14, 16? She was a, you know, she was a sizable woman, you know, solid, if you will, like a rock. So, brass, loud, unapologetically black, how dare she, knew her worth, knew her talent, and knew what the white folks, because I do have a lot of white people on my page, so I'm not going to call y'all the C word, you know, I'm not going to call you the saltines. I'm not going to do that, but, you know, she knew what the people were trying to do. She knew there's a monologue that says, they want me for my voice. They're going to do anything they can, do anything for me that I need them to do before I give them my voice. But when I give them my voice, all they see me is as a dirty dog, which is very parallel to what we have going on right now. Some, not all, because we have some wonderful allies, but there are some white people that will like you for what you can do for them, and as soon as you have done what you can do for them, they discard you like a used condom. For those that use condoms, because some people don't use condoms, but we're not talking about that either. But she was very aware of the policy and procedures of white people. Okay. Ma Rainey liked the way she liked her sound, liked the way that she sung, wasn't too hip and too keen on someone coming in and changing her sound, i.e., my mind is saying Lovey. That ain't that young man. I about to say they use the N-word. Levy. That's my Uncle Syed's Foxbone that he here visited me. Levy, played by the late great Chadwick Boseman. We're not even getting to the actors yet. We're gonna get into that next. So she didn't really like Levy. Levy had his own story. And I would venture to say a bit of I don't want to say mental illness, trauma. Levy had his own trauma, baggage, that bag lady, in this case is bag gentleman or Nick, whatever. Anyway, he had his own trauma, and he wanted to be the boss. He wanted his sound. Ma had her sound, and being that Ma was the boss, they were bumping heads. bumping heads. You know, I hate to say stay in your place. I don't like this. I don't like, stay in your place. But again, when you are a part of an ensemble, one, and then two, you are not the boss, you kind of do what your boss says do, unless, they say like murdering somebody or doing something illegal. Don't do that, y'all. But you kind of stay, like me, even though in the realm of theater. In the realm of theater, you have a director. You do your thing. Most directors want to see what you bring to the role. You do your actor's homework and you do your research about the period. Yes, you have the vernacular. Yes, you have the verbiage in front of you, but then you take it to the next level. What was going on, say for this movie, what was going on in America in 1927? What was going on in Chicago in 1927? Sometimes you have to, and then once you figure that out, then you have to write, if there is no backstory, now not like Levy, because Levy has a backstory, but say for some of the other characters, like Slow Roll, like for Slow Roll, they didn't really get into Slow Roll's backstory. So as an actor, we have to create a backstory that kind of parallels, that can fit what we already know on paper, right? So most directors want to see what you bring to the role, how you interpret the words of the playwright. And then from there, they begin to direct. Stand here. How about, don't say it like this, say it like this. Or they may ask you questions to kind of get your wheels going. They may say, did you do your actor's homework? Or they may say, well, what was going on in Chicago in 1927? Or what was going on wherever that piece or that play is set? They may ask questions to get you to think these things, to give more believability, to give more concept, to give more depth to the role. You have to have that. So, Ma was the director. It was her show. And so to have somebody challenging her in front of everybody, you kind of got to nip that in the bud. Because if you got somebody challenging you and you don't nip that in the bud, then not everybody believes that they can challenge you. So that's like a parent. If your child out there acting a fool and you got multiple kids, and your child out there, not that the little baby look crazy or whatnot, if you look touch one of God's special babies, they ain't talking about them because they got a little deficiency up here. But if he just legitimately being a badass, if you don't chastise him, I'm not saying whoop his ass, but if you don't chastise or punish him some kind of way, the other siblings gonna think, well, mama and daddy ain't gonna do shit because they ain't do shit to little Tommy, so you got to nip that shit in the bud. Now, I personally believe better rather than spoil a child, but hey, I'm speaking as a man that ain't got no kids. So, don't take my word for it. So they were bumping ahead. They were bumping heads trying to nip it in the bud. Or she was trying to nip it in the bud, and she was trying to be nice. Because she was telling Cutler, get this nigga now. Get this nigga. Because, listen, I'm assuming, they never said it, but I'm assuming based on the role that Cutler played, he was in our term, band leader, or maybe the arranger, or whatever the head title for the person that deals with the band. In orchestra, you'll call him the director. But he was the leader of the band, and so she let him. Everybody got a part. I'm the singer, you the middleman. So just like in theater, and I keep reverting back to theater, you have the director. If there is a problem, normally the director will go to the stage manager. And because the stage manager does what? Manage the stage, the people on the stage. So everybody has a role. So the director will go to the stage manager then will go relay all the information that needs to happen, and vice versa. This crew, the actors will go to the stage manager if they have ideas or thoughts or whatnot, and the stage manager will relay it to the director. Same thing. She told Cutler, hey, now get this nigga, he trying to do his own thing. This is not the Levy show. This ain't the Levy band. This is my Rainey, this is my black bottom, and we're gonna run this shit the way we wanna run it. But he didn't want to hear it because Levy, the white man, told Levy, well, you write me some songs, we gonna get you your band, and you can play it. And that's all he was talking about. Well, when I get my band, it's almost like when an adult, a parent, tells a child that they're going to Disney World. We go to Disney. I'm gonna see Mickey, I'm gonna see Minnie, I'm gonna see Goofy, I'm gonna ride the rides, I'm gonna eat my cotton candy, I'm gonna get my funnel cake. They are excited. You can't get anything out of their head because all these little motherfuckers know is that we going to Disneyland or Disney World, whichever one of the Disneys I said, I don't remember. And they just telling them, I'm going to Disney World. Fuck you and your party because I'm going to Disney World. No, I'm not coming to your birthday because my mama taking me to Disney World. And then something happened to mama and daddy lose their job, or something happened, a hurricane come and blow that bitch away. Now you kind of got to eat your words. And I think we've all been there in life to a point to where we were excited about something, or we were just braggadocious. Just like, bitch, look at me now. And sometimes that happens in the case of Levy. You ain't signed that nan contract. You ain't got that nan piece of money. You ain't got none on paper, and you're so equally, as Ma Rainey, equally bold, equally brass, equally audacious, but you have no facts. You have no, as Ann Nesby said, you better put it on paper. I don't know the rhythm of that song, but the bitch did say put it on paper. But he had all of these, and I'm not even going to say hopes and dreams. It was literally lies. Like the white man, as they often do, tell lies to get the same monologue that Ma Rainey said. I'm going to get what I want up front, because as soon as I give them what they want, they discard me. I.e., excuse me, and I'm jumping kind of over the place, when he gave him that paper with the songs that he wrote, the white man was real, I don't remember his name, don't even care, but the white man was real nice. Oh my God, them papers, these are songs, lovely, you know, that hip beat that's going to drive the people in the North wild, I'm going to put it in their lap. Gave them the songs. When he came back down, act like he didn't even know Levy. Didn't know the man. The exact same monologue. Literally, the parallel. The exact same thing that Ma talked about. You get before you hear my voice, before I do Ma Run This Black Bottom, before I do whatever the other song was, I can't remember the name, I don't care. But whatever it was, before you get these golden pipes and these gold teeth and these dark circles under my eyes, you gonna give me what's due to me. And I'm surprised she didn't get her money up front before she sung. Now that I think about it, that reminds me like Aretha Franklin. Aretha said, bitch, before I hit this stage, give me my money. And kind of going back to what Cutler said, don't bring me no goddamn check. Aretha stopped taking checks a long time ago. That's public knowledge. You always wonder why she came on stage with that damn purse. Her coins was in it. And she's at that purse on top of the pit. She ain't leaving that shit in the dressing room. She ain't leaving it around for nobody that can get it. She brought that purse on stage, and that purse had enclosed her coins that she was supposed to be paid. So that does, now that I think about it, it does surprise me that she didn't get paid first. But where was I? Levy, Ma Rainey, bumping heads, trauma, mental health, mental illness. What Levy went through, and I should have said spoiler alert, bitch, but you gonna see this on his gonna say review, so you know review means I'm giving spoilers. I hope you know that what that means. As African American, currently right now, I am so glad that we are acknowledging and embracing mental health. Mental health is a part of our overall health. Oftentimes, we think about the physical, going to the doctor, going to the dentist, and some black folks don't even want to do that because they just say, God is going to do it. God is a good God and he's going to just cure my ears. I'm dependent, hey, la boshata, and leaning on the good Lord. Yes, please do that, but God did create medicine and he did create doctor, because some of y'all niggas get on my nerves with it. It ain't even the youngest, it ain't the young folks. It's the old seasoned saints. Yeah, God created doctors. He did. He created dentists. He did. He created diabetes and sugar pills. He did. He created, your pain medicine for your chronic pain. He did. He created weed for y'all to smoke, not necessarily for recreation. Now, this is no judgment because I don't do any kind of drugs. But he created all of that. So go to the doctor, get checked out. You wonder why Big Mama toe turning green, because she got that goddamn gout and y'all feeding her high iodized salt and sugar all the damn time, or you letting her cook her own food and her leg turning green. Now Big Mama leg then got amputated because you won't take her to the doctor, or she don't want to go. Go get power attorney over Big Mama and take her on to the doctor before she lose her toes and her feet. And tangent, went on a roll. But that is something that is habitual within the African American community. You got insurance and still will not go to the damn doctor. Your copay $10, $20 at the max. Even if you got crappy insurance, your copay $30, and you still will not go to the doctor. Don't understand it. Don't understand. If I'm hurting for more than 2 to 3 days and I can't understand it, why I'm hurting, like now, bitch, if I slip and fall because I'm a man of a certain age, okay, bitch, your bones a little, they don't heal the same way. Knocking your knee on a dresser at 20 ain't the same way as knocking your knee on a dresser at 40, okay? So if I know I did something wrong, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take a couple of pain pills. And even if I knock my knee on the dresser at 40 and that bitch still hurting after 3 or 4 days later, okay, girl, we might have a sprain, a highline, what they call a hairline fracture, or something like that. I'm gonna go get it checked out. But if I'm just ailing, as the old folks say, just ailing for 2-3 days and I'm taking, Tussin. Now it's technically called Robitussin, but the old folks call it Tussin. But if I'm taking Tussin, Mucinex, or taking Tylenol and Advil, and nothing is seeming to help me feel better, get better, and I got insurance. Even there have been times that I have not had insurance, and I went down to the free clinic. Now, yes, bitch, you will wait all day. You surely will. But you will be seen, and most times they have a sliding scale, your copay based on how much you make. But this is not about the physical doctor. I got on the tangent with that, but it's true. I am glad that we are embracing mental health as a real thing. We as African Americans, we often think that we can pray things away. Pray the gay away. God is going to do this. Pray it away. Prayer works. But the Bible does says faith without works is, dead. Prayer works. You can pray to God all you want. But he wants to see that you are making your own progression. You can want a job all day long. Lord, I know we in COVID right now. I lost my job. Things are getting hard. Lord, bless me with a job. Bless me with a job. Bless me with a job. But bitch, if you don't put out an application, how you go? It doesn't happen. My grandma used to always say this. It ain't going to come through osmosis. Now, I don't know really what osmosis is, but she used to say it so much I gather that it means it ain't just going to fall in your head. And she was referring to studying because I was an all right student. It ain't going to come through osmosis. You got to put your face in the book. Same thing. God ain't going to give you no job. Who just walk around, hey, you need a job? Hey, you need it. Ain't nobody walk around asking if you need. Faith without, you got to do your part and God will do his part. So, went on a tangent. Lost my train of thought, but y'all been following me for so long. You know I do these things, but you know what I'm saying is true. I'm gonna go back to mental health because I don't know where I was going. But I'm so happy that we're embracing mental health. We as black, it came back to me. We as black people have been through so much, 400 years of trauma. Trauma from the white man, bam. Trauma within our crazy ass families because our families are crazy as fuck. And then trauma from the workplace, trauma from family. We are trauma-filled individuals. But we have been taught, black men, that we can't cry, that we can't show emotions, that we can't tell our children, I love them. Women, that you have to shudder the burden of being these strong black women. Even when your nigga out there cheating on you, you got to take care of his kids and the kids' kids and still keep a happy home and take care of your man. We've been taught so many antiquated things to where we are experiencing trauma and also causing trauma because of the things that have been passed down from generation to generation, i.e. generational curses, and things that we have been taught by family, taught by society, taught by the universal black church, there are so many different traumas that we have experienced, and we do. Okay, bitch, I'm back. So, my camera just died. The bitch didn't give me no warning. She didn't say, okay, girl, 5 minutes until showtime or to the end, 5 minutes to curtain call. She didn't give me no kind of warning. I was just talking about the mental health, about the black peoples. And my camera said, okay, girl, you've been talking too long. Cut it. So I had to let my camera charge and I am back. So anyways, what I was saying, and I'm trying to get back in the train of thought that I was in, is that I am glad in the space that we're in now that we are seeing black people talking about and experiencing therapy, mental health. We all have trauma. Trauma that has been placed on us by ourselves, by society, by community, by family, by church, by work. We have trauma. And oftentimes, we're taught that black folks don't go to therapy. Oh no, that's not our thing. We leave that to the white people. The white people go to therapy. But we are now, with the help of so many celebrities, Taraji P. Henson with her foundation, who else? She's the only one I can think of off the top of my head. But there are so many people that are actually talking about therapy. Gabrielle Union talks about openly about her going to therapy when she had her miscarriage, or several miscarriages. But it has become a part of the conversation for the black community, the black diaspora, of seeing therapy as a viable form of healthy maintenance. Just like going to the dentist, just like going to the doctor, just like women going to the OBGYN, your general practitioner, things of that nature. Health is not just the physical. It is the mental head, the emotional heart, the physical, the body, the spiritual, whomever you may serve, be it God, Buddha, Allah, atheist, did I say Buddha already? Whomever you may serve, the spiritual aspect or a combination thereof. That makes up the completeness or the entirety of a healthy being. All of those things. It's just not the physical. Your insides can be pristine, but if your mental is not right, depression, suicide, bad things, just bad things. If your inside is pristine, but your heart is not right, you're mean and ornery and nasty to everybody, that all goes with the collectiveness of being healthy. So as we see with Levy, see, when I get got my phone, when I get out of the realm of speaking, I forget what I be talking about. And so, what didn't happen here, girl? What didn't happen here? What didn't happen? Hold on. Bam, there it is. I had to go to my phone. And it's taking a minute. There it is. Levy, played by the late great Chadwick Boseman. But anyways, you see, and he has this lengthy, there are two very lengthy monologues, and August Wilson is great about writing lengthy but poignant, direct monologues to drive the point home. So you have two with Levy, you have one with Levy, and you have one with Ma. Ma talking about, getting from them what she can get from them before she uses her golden pipes or whatnot. And then the one from Levy when he is describing his daddy leaving, his mama frying chicken, and 8 or 9 white men came in there and had her way with her. Had their way with her. And him as an 8-year-old young boy, we're not going to say young man because he's a child, seeing and witnessing his mother being raped. Not just raped by one man, which is traumatic enough, but literally gang raped. Had a train ran on her, and her son watched. That is trauma. Outside of the normal trauma of the this was done in 1927. I'm assuming that if you do the math, 1927 this was filmed, I'm assuming Levy was probably in his mid-30s. They never gave him an age. I would see mid-30s, early to mid-30s. So if you're saying this was, what you said something? Huh?
He was 32.
How you know?
He said it.
Oh, he said he was 32? Okay, I was still right. So in that range, he was 32. So if this happened when he was 8, so I'm horrible with math, 32 minus 8, that is 26 years. No, is that 26 years? Yeah, 20, nope, that's 20, yeah, 26, 27, 28, 29, 26, 27, 28, yeah. Nope, that's not right. It was 24. He was 24. If he's 32 minus 8, yeah. 24. So 24 years from that, he was 8 years old. So it was 1927, 24 years. So that happened in 1903. So outside of the normal shit going on for black men, black people in 1903, already trauma, having the trauma of being, when I was growing up, my mom always told me, you got 2 strikes against you. 1, you're black. 2, you a male. Then she was like, then you want to be a faggot? Nah, I love my mama, but she was a little, back in the day. Again, that trauma, that church trauma, that community trauma that has been passed down from generation to generation. So she's like, you got 3 strikes. And so it's kind of the same thing back then. Being a boy child, being black, being a black boy child, and then, that trauma, and then seeing his mom being raped. Trauma. He grows up with these thought processes that God is not real because, God did not intervene. At least he thinks God did not intervene, right? God did not intervene. God did not stop them. God did not dispatch his angels down to stop. It would be great if things worked that way in life, but we know it doesn't. There is a purpose and reason for everything. I can't say why that happened to his mama, but it stopped, right? And you know how it stopped? We know because we saw the movie or read the screenplay, or the play rather, is that he grabbed his daddy's knife and went in, tried to cut him. They grabbed and cut him, and they ran out thinking that he was going to bleed to death. So maybe that could have been the way that God wanted it to stop. Now, he didn't die, so that could be interpreted that God healed him, saved him, or whatnot. But his mama was crying out for help. He did what I would think as any boy child or even child would do. I don't know. God knows. I've never been in that situation. But that can be interpreted of God stepping in and changing the situation. Who knows? But he has this ideology that God does not exist. That God was not there. God clearly can't exist because God didn't help his mama. God didn't help him. God didn't help his daddy as his daddy sold off the land and moved them out of their farming land. And then daddy ended up killing, he said, 4 of the 8 or 4 of the 9 in the woods. They tracked them down and burned them and yada, yada, yada. That can be interpreted different ways. Another thing that can be interpreted, or not even interpreted, and I caught this during the movie, but if you watch the Netflix special, it's like a 31-minute special with Denzel and Viola, or Mr. Washington and Miss Davis and Mr. Wolf. Shout out to George C. Wolf, wonderful director. He's a wonderful playwright, but he also was a director for one of my favorite movies. I believe he was a director for Lackawanna Blues. I love Essenpate the Murkison. My God, that is still one of my favorite movies with Macy Gray. Who else was in that movie? I can't think. The light-skinned girl. She been in some other, but that ain't saying much.
he directed or was he in Fences? No, he directed Fences, the movie with Denzel and Mr. Washington and Miss Davis. But anyways, that's who that was. But what I was saying, another thing that we saw is that Levy was trying to get into that room. It leads me to believe that they've recorded there before. At least we know that they've recorded there before because we know the man, they've been there. And apparently that door was open at one point because he was steady trying to get into that room. Like, why is this door locked? Why is this door locked? And you notice that he keeps going back to that door for some odd reason. And I didn't get it in the beginning. Like, why is he steady trying to go get behind this door? Whatever is behind this door, it must be something of importance because he is steady trying to open this door. He has a monologue, he's talking, he's cutting the jive, he's shooting the shit with her, but he's steady trying to get into this door. In the very end, after he gets fired, he comes down. I believe this is after he kills. Shout out, side note, to Glenn Truman. This man is a legend. Now, some of you may know him as Colonel Bradford Taylor from I Know My Parents Love Me, Stand Behind Me Come One Day. I know now that I'm ready, because I finally heard him say it's a different world from where you come from. You know him from a different world. Some of us older folks know him from Cooley High. Now, Boys and Men had an album called Cooley High Harmony, but Cooley High, when it was him, I don't know none of them. I know those actors when I see them. The one actor, he played Joe Jackson in the American, what is it called? The American Dream. But he was in that movie. I can't think of his name. But anyways, this man has been around for decades he's a stage actor. He started out in theater anyways. But shout out to Glenn Truman. He has been around and still carrying on. But I believe after he killed, who did Glenn play? Where's my phone? Or Mr. Truman. I'm going to stop calling these folks by their first name. Because if I met them in real life, he played Toledo. I wonder if he was from Canada. Because there's a Toledo. Is that? No, never mind. Sorry. That's Toronto. Never mind. Toledo is somewhere else, like in the Midwest. Toledo somewhere. But anyways, his name was Toledo. After he killed Toledo, he kept trying to get in that room. He finally got into that room.
Prior to.
That was prior to? Okay.
Yes.
Prior to killing Toledo, he kept trying to get into the room. He got into the room. And in the room was a room. Behind the door was a room, a brick room, 4-sided walls, looking up to, I'm assuming, a skylight because it was like a shaft. There was nothing there. And the metaphor behind that was, oftentimes we spend so much time trying to get into, break down the barriers or break down the door or get into the room or think we're going to break that glass ceiling, But soon as we get in there, there's another door or another wall. And there's a saying that a lot of people use, when I cross the line, they just make another line that I have to cross. And that's kind of what I took away from it. He was steady trying to bust down that door, get his band, get a new sound there, have his own, break down those barriers, be it misguided as they may have been towards Ma. But he finally gets in the room, and you're thinking that in the room there is some kind of promised land, that there is some kind of reward on the other side of this door. My destiny is on the other side of this door. My life's work is on the other side of this door. But when you open the door, it is yet but another obstacle. And that has often been the plight of African Americans. We think we take one step forward but get pushed 2 steps back. Shout out to Paul Abdul. I remember that video, lovely. But we think that we're moving forward, and legitimately we are. And we cross that line. Hoorah! I crossed the line. I crossed the finish line. But these motherfuckers, the powers that be, normally white people because they control everything, have now moved that same line another 500 yards. So we're back at zero again, trying to get past that line. And it goes to what we're having a conversation in 2020, 2021 that we've been having about having our own. Shout out to, even though I don't like Tyler Perry like that, shout out to Tyler Perry because he don't have to go to nobody and do what he want to do. He got literally, he has everything that he needs. He don't have to go to the white man or the Jewish man or the Asian man or nobody to get what he needs to get done. There is nobody changing the line on Tyler Perry. Nobody's changing the line on him. Nobody's changing the line on Oprah, own studios. They own it. It's theirs. So there are very few African American or people of color that the white people ain't changing the line on them. But for the majority of us, we get past one obstacle and then we think we've made it and there's another one standing dead in our face. And we're like, well, fuck, man. Fuck, I had to fight all over again. And so that's what I took away from that, and his reaction to that was disheartening. It was very sad to watch. It was very poignant, and it was very, I don't know, it was just sad. It was relatable. Even in my life, very relatable. To where you're breaking barriers or trying to do something to progress, and you legitimately do, but they don't, we're not on even playing field or even footing. So, that's what everybody was great. Shout out to Domingo. What's his name? That man is so fine. There are some men that I love, and I have loved him. His name is Coleman without the E. Coleman, Domingo. That man it's his lips and his smile. He's fine. He is. And if you see him, sir, if you see this, I don't know what you is and what you ain't, none of my business. But you know you fine. And you can get it. Politely. DM me. I don't know if I'm your type, though. Oh, maybe. Maybe so. It's cuffing season. Okay, so now let's get into the actors, and then we're going to be done. Actors. Academy Award winner Viola Davis. Okay, there's already Oscar buzz on this. Already. Viola Davis. She is going to be nominated for Best Lead Actress. She is not a supporting actress, so she's a Best Lead Actress. She's going to be nominated, mark my words, for an Oscar, a Golden Globe, because you know Golden Globe award season is coming up in January. So I'm not, being that this is December, I don't know if they made it for this coming year. It might be 2022 that they may be on award season, because they may have missed the campaign season for 2021. Viola Davis, Best Lead Actress. Chadwick Boseman, Best Supporting Actress. He is going to actor. Thank you. Sorry, Lord, Mr. Boseman. You know what I meant. So don't be smiting me from heaven. He is going to get nominated for two reasons. The first reason, because of his work. Impeccable. The epitome of embodying, or his monologue. He was so heartfelt to where you literally saw the spit, the spittle, the slob coming out of his mouth, the tears. A method actor, but his performance was brilliant. And then the second part, because he is deceased. I think they would nominate him because he has passed. Even if he was alive, I still think he was going to get nominated. But as a backup, if they were not going to nominate him for the role, they're definitely going to nominate him because he is deceased now. And he will viably win posthumously, which is after death. Everybody's acting. big, because the fact of the matter is, as far as key players in this movie, there's 9, 10 in the entire movie. Ma Rainey, you got Levy, you got Cutler, you got Slow Roll, who plays the bass, you got Glenn Truman, who plays the piano. What was his name? Oh, Slow Drag, not Slow Roll, Slow Drag. And then you got Glenn Toledo, 5. Irwin, the manager, made 6. Stuyvesant made 7. Sylvester, the one with the stutter, he made 8. And everybody else is so. Oh, and Taylor Page, Dusty May, made 9. So the entire cast, besides the people, and at the at the deli, at the stove, the extras, the people in the audience in the tent, 9 people in the entire cast, and it is brilliant. Everybody brought their A game. Viola in her fat suit. Mama already said, I saw her in an interview on Jimmy Kimmel. Mama said she gained about 30 pounds. Now, gaining weight is easy, bitches. To losing the motherfucker is the problem. Mama said she gained 30 pounds and wore a fat suit. Now, fat suits don't work well for everybody. They don't always look realistic. But Mama looked good. Them gold teeth, the makeup, the dark circles under. Mama, she didn't look good. Let me rephrase that. Mama looked like she was supposed to look. Let's say that. If that makes sense. So I'm not going to say Mama looked good because Mama didn't. She looked how she was supposed to look. That's the easiest way without being derogatory. And that's really the costume. Shout out to Anne. What was her name that did the costume? I'm not about to look it up. But I love period pieces. This is a period piece. I've always been a fan of period pieces. I love period pieces. This is a period piece. The Crown on Netflix is a period piece, which I love. Anyway, i.e. His Royal Highness. I love Monarch. I've always loved the Monarch. Anything Kings and Queens I've seen. Mary Queen of Scots, all that. Even The Queen's Gambit on Netflix is a period piece. The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel on Amazon Prime is a period piece. Anything that is not current, even if you look at something like in the 1980s, if they made a movie now back in the 1980s, it's a period piece because it is not in this period. It is not the 2020s or something that looks like it could be right now. And so I love period pieces. I love the costumes. I love how they put things together. I love how they make it as authentic as they possibly can. So, with that being said, another little small tidbit. August Wilson is the only African American or person of color to have a theater named after him on Broadway. The Schubert Theater, the Hasselmine, normally old Jewish dead white people. August Wilson is the only African American, only person of color, and that includes a whole bunch of motherfuckers. African Americans, Hispanics, Dominicans, Indians, pretty much people of color consists of everybody that's not white. That's literally what, and Asians, But people of color, that only person of color that is on the Broadway, on the Great White Way, and they call it white for a reason, Great White Way, to have a theater named after him, the August Wilson Theater. I forget what it was before, but they renamed it to him. And that is really my feedback on Ma Rainey. I enjoyed it. It was a full circle moment. If you haven't seen it, still watch it. I hope you didn't see it before you watch this. And other than that, that is it. Peace and much love. Thank you for tuning into another episode of Rhoyally Fucked with your boy, the Sebastian Alexander Bonet. But you can call me His Royal Highness. Make sure you like, you subscribe. Right here, you're going to be a little circle. You subscribe. We're over the 10,000 mark, bitch. We're moving to the 20,000. And then watch my other videos right here. Like, subscribe, and share. And I will holler at my fellow royals at another time. Peace and much love. Bye.